Imagine for a moment, not just living longer, but really living, like to 100, 150, maybe even 200 years old.
Wow.
And here's the thing. You're not frail or sick. You're actually stronger, fitter, healthier, wiser, more energetic than you felt at 40. Seriously.
It's a completely different picture of aging than we're used to.
Totally. So what would you do with that? Another 60, 80 years of vibrant, engaged life? What's your why?
That's the big question, isn't it? Because for so long, aging has just felt like this, well, inevitable slide downhill,
Yeah.
passive.
Right.
But what if that whole perspective is just wrong? What if it's something we can actively change, maybe even reverse?
And that is exactly what we're diving into today. We're digging into the revolutionary ideas from Dr. Mark Hyman's work, especially his book, Young Forever.
It's really groundbreaking stuff.
Our mission here is to unpack the science, the cutting-edge stuff, but also the really practical steps, things you can actually do to extend both your health span, those good, vibrant years, and your actual lifespan.
We want to show you how you can unlock your body's own healing system. It's already there. And maybe even start reversing biological aging, the stuff we thought was, set in stone.
Yeah, our promise to you is we'll go beyond the usual advice, uncover some, frankly, surprising facts, stuff that might make you rethink things.
And give you clear, actionable insights. We don't want you feeling overwhelmed, just empowered to take control of your health and longevity.
Okay, so let's get into it. Our current medical system. It's amazing for emergencies, right? Broken bones, heart attacks.
Absolutely. For acute care, it's incredible.
But when it comes to chronic diseases, the long-term stuff, it seems like we're struggling. Dr. Hyman uses this great analogy. It's like we're constantly mopping up the floor while the sink keeps running.
Huh, yeah, that captures it perfectly. We focus downstream, you know, on the symptoms, the diagnosis.
Instead of upstream,
Yeah,
turning off the faucet, looking at the causes.
exactly. And the funding just shows this disconnect. It's pretty stark. Less than 10% of the NIH budget goes to aging research. That's about $2.6 billion.
Oh.
And get this, only a tiny slice of that, like $260 million, is actually aimed at aging's root causes.
While we're spending, what was it, trillions?
$4 trillion a year managing the diseases caused by aging.
It's,
Yep. Well, the priorities seem backwards.
It really makes you stop and think. And here's another kicker. Even if we waved a magic wand and cured heart disease and cancer tomorrow,
Which would be amazing, obviously.
obviously, but the science suggests we'd only add about 5 to 7 years to the average lifespan.
That's it, compared to the last century.
Right. We doubled life expectancy last century with basic stuff, sanitation, antibiotics, vaccines. It just feels like we're missing something big now.
We are. And that's the shift towards functional medicine or systems medicine, network medicine, whatever you want to call it. It's a totally different way of looking at things.
How so?
Instead of seeing the body as separate parts,
Right.
like a car needing a new muffler or whatever,
Right.
it sees it as this interconnected ecosystem. Everything affects everything else. Imbalances in one spot. They can ripple out and cause problems everywhere. It flips the old approach completely upside down.
Find the running faucet, don't just keep mopping.
Precisely.
Okay, so if the old system is just mopping, what is the running faucet? What's actually going wrong inside us as we age? This is where Dr. Hyman drops a bit of a bombshell, right? He says, aging itself, it isn't just inevitable, it's a disease.
And that's not just playing with words. It's a really critical point for our whole conversation today.
Why is that distinction so important?
Because if aging is a disease, well, diseases are treatable, or at least manageable. It moves us from just accepting decline to actively intervening.
Okay, I see. Less passive acceptance, more active strategy.
Exactly. And if we see it as a disease, we can start identifying its hallmarks, the key biological processes that are actually driving it.
That is a powerful idea. It changes everything about getting older. So, okay, what are these hallmarks? What's going wrong at that cellular level that we can actually influence?
Well, one of the absolute biggest ones is insulin resistance. It's a huge hormonal issue, and honestly, it mostly comes from our modern diet.
Sugar and starch.
Yep. Too much sugar, too much refined starch. Your pancreas just keeps pumping out insulin to deal with it all. Over time, your cells basically get tired of listening. They become resistant.
So they need even more insulin to get the message.
Exactly. And you end up with chronically high insulin levels floating around.
And what does that do? Just having all that extra insulin.
Yeah, it's a cascade of bad news. It tells your body to store dangerous belly fat. You lose muscle mass, which is crucial for metabolism. You feel hungrier. It ramps up inflammation everywhere.
Wow.
Raises blood pressure, messes up your cholesterol, causes fatty liver, throws off your sex hormones. It even hits your brain, contributing to depression and memory loss.
It sounds like it's connected to almost everything. Diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, dementia, cancer.
It's foundational, truly. Okay, next up, epigenetics. This one is fascinating.
This is about genes, right? But not quite.
Exactly. Your actual DNA code, your genome, that's fixed. You get it from your parents. But which genes are turned on or off? That's your epigenome, and it's incredibly flexible.
So it can change.
Massively. Here's the mind-blowing part. Over 90% of chronic disease, and even your potential for a long life, isn't dictated by your fixed genes. It's determined by your exposome.
Exposome? What's that?
It's basically everything that washes over you during your life. Your diet, obviously, exercise, stress levels, your relationships, your thoughts even, nutritional status, sleep quality, infections you've had.
So pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything that isn't your fixed DNA code. And these things directly influence processes like DNA methylation, which is like the dimmer switch for your genes. It controls how your genetic music gets played.
That's incredibly empowering. You're not just stuck with the hand you were dealt genetically.
Not at all. You have huge influence. Which leads us to how our cells maintain themselves. Let's talk damaged proteins and autophagy.
Autophagy, that means self-eating, right? Sounds a bit dramatic.
It does,
Yeah.
but it's essential. Think of it as your body's built-in recycling program, your cellular cleanup crew. It's this ancient survival mechanism that gets rid of old, junky proteins and damaged cell parts, like taking out the trash.
Okay, we need that. So what's the problem?
The problem is our modern lifestyle. We're often in a state of constant calorie intake, especially sugar, starch, even too much protein, constantly signaling growth. This keeps a pathway called mTOR switched on all the time. mTOR is like the master growth switch. Build, build, build.
And when it's always on build?
It shuts down autophagy. The cleanup switch gets turned off, so the cellular junk just starts piling up because the recycling crew never gets called in.
Okay, so junk piles up. And speaking of things sticking around that shouldn't, senescent cells, these are the zombie cells, right?
That's the perfect nickname for them. They're cells that should have died off, but they don't. They just hang around spewing out inflammatory stuff.
Like grumpy old neighbors causing trouble.
Exactly. And that inflammation they cause accelerates all sorts of age-related diseases, cancer, heart disease, dementia, muscle loss. They're not dead, but they're definitely not helping.
Okay, zombies. Got it. What's next?
The gut ecosystem. Your microbiome, people are calling it the magical kingdom inside you.
I've heard it called our second brain even.
Or maybe even our first brain, some argue. It's arguably your most important organ. You have more bacterial cells in there than human cells in your whole body.
That's wild.
And the balance in there is critical. A messed up gut from a poor diet, too many antibiotics, stress, it's linked to pretty much every chronic disease. It drives inflammation system-wide.
How?
Through something called leaky gut. The gut lining gets damaged, and then stuff like undigested food particles and bacterial toxins can leak directly into your bloodstream. Your immune system sees this stuff, freaks out, and triggers inflammation everywhere.
So leaky gut equals body-wide inflammation, which sounds like it connects to the next hallmark, inflammaging.
Precisely. Inflammaging is like this chronic, low-grade fire burning inside you. It's partly because our immune system itself ages. That's called immunosenescence. It gets worse at fighting infections and cancer.
Okay.
But other parts of the immune system become overactive, constantly pumping out inflammatory signals. It's like a slow, smoldering cytokine storm that just never quite goes out.
And what's fanning those flames?
The usual suspects, unfortunately. Our modern pro-inflammatory diet, lots of processed foods, sugar, bad fats, environmental chemicals. There are like 84,000 of them, mostly untested, chronic stress, and lack of good sleep. They all fuel that fire.
Okay, that's a lot of heavy science. Insulin resistance, epigenetics, damaged proteins, zombie cells, leaky gut, inflammaging. It sounds kind of bleak.
It can seem that way, but here's the really exciting part. Dr. Hyman's Young Forever program takes all this science and turns it into simple, powerful strategies.
Simple, after all that complexity.
The core idea is simple. Take out the bad stuff that's hurting your biology and put in the good stuff, the healing factors your body needs to work properly. Remove the interference, provide the essentials.
Take out the bad, put in the good. Okay, I like that. So, pillar number 1.
Food as medicine. This is the master regulator. Your diet is probably the single most important lever you have.
Really? More than genetics or anything else?
For most chronic diseases, yes. I mean, think about this. The typical Western processed food diet, it contributes to 11 million deaths globally every year.
11 million. Wow.
And for many people, especially kids, 60 to 67% of their diet is ultra-processed food. The data is clear. For every 10% jump in ultra-processed food intake, your risk of death increases by 14%.
That's direct. Okay, so the obvious action item is?
Cut way back, or ideally eliminate, sugar, refined starches, and especially liquid sugar calories, sodas, sweetened juices, fancy coffee drinks.
And we can look to places like the Blue Zones for inspiration, right? Sardinia, Icaria.
Absolutely. Those places where people live incredibly long, healthy lives, it's not just one thing they do, it's a whole lifestyle. Nutrient-dense, phytochemical-rich foods are just embedded in their culture, along with movement and strong community ties.
Their food is literally medicine, but it also tastes good because it's real food.
Exactly. So practically speaking, ditch the industrial seed oils, canola, sunflower, corn, soy oils. Avoid processed food additives. Instead, embrace healthy fats.
Like olive oil.
Yes. Organic extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, nuts, seeds, pasture-raised eggs, meat from regeneratively raised animals if you eat meat.
And fish.
Go for the small, oily, low-mercury ones packed with omega-3s. SMASH is a good acronym. Sardines, mackerel, anchovies, salmon, wild cod.
And herring. SMASH. Got it. Okay, pillar 2. Movement for longevity.
The rule here is simple but non-negotiable. You have to move or you won't thrive. If exercise were a pill.
It'd be a biggest blockbuster drug ever, right?
Without a doubt. It positively impacts all those hallmarks of aging we talked about. Blood sugar, insulin sensitivity, weight, heart health, mood, your brain.
Brain health, too.
Oh, yeah. Exercise increases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It literally helps you grow new brain cells. Plus, stronger muscles, stronger bones, better sleep, better libido. The list goes on.
Okay, I'm sold on moving. How much do we need? Do I have to run a marathon?
Definitely not. The general guideline is 150 minutes of moderate exercise like brisk walking or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise per week.
That seems doable.
And critically add in strength training, 3 or 4 days a week. Doesn't have to be fancy bands, weights, even just bodyweight exercises like squats, push-ups, lunges. Build or maintain that muscle mass.
And even small amounts help.
Hugely. Even just 10 minutes of walking a day adds years to your life, according to studies. Consistency is key.
It's inspiring that Dr. Hyman himself talks about starting weight training at 60 and feeling stronger at 63 than ever before, using simple bands.
It really shows it's never too late. And don't forget flexibility and agility. Yoga is fantastic for staying mobile and pain-free, and it even positively affects cellular aging markers.
Good point. Okay, pillar 3, healing our minds, hearts, and spirit. This feels different.
It is, and it's often the most neglected pillar in our crazy, busy lives. Self-care tends to fall to the bottom of the list.
Unlike the Blue Zones again, where rest and community are central.
Exactly. And the science backs this up. Strong social connections, feeling part of a community, having good relationships, these are directly linked to living longer, better mental health, lowered blood pressure, less inflammation.
We really are social animals.
We absolutely are. And it goes beyond just connections. Your mindset, having a sense of purpose, that's huge too.
How does thinking positively help you live longer?
Studies show that positive thoughts, having goals, feeling like your life has meaning, it correlates with longer telomeres, those protective caps on our DNA, and can add up to 7 years to life expectancy.
7 years, just from mindset.
It's powerful. Conversely, chronic stress, constantly ruminating on negative things, that actively speeds up aging. Your internal world matters immensely.
Which leads us right into sleep optimization. You said this is non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Sleep is not a luxury. It's when your body and brain do essential repair work. Cellular cleanup, hormone balancing, resetting your internal clock, your circadian rhythm.
And not getting enough is seriously bad.
Very. Less than 7 hours a night consistently, that increases your risk of death by 24%.
24%. Okay, message received. Sleep is crucial.
And our modern world makes it tough. Our bodies evolved to sync with light and darkness. Bright light during the day, darkness at night.
But now we have screens everywhere, beaming blue light at us late into the evening.
Right. And that blue light messes up our melatonin production, disrupts our circadian rhythm, and increases risk for obesity, heart disease, cancer, depression.
So what can we do? Practical sleep tips.
Create a wind-down routine. Maybe a hot bath with Epsom salts and lavender oil, gentle stretching, or massage. Consider magnesium 200 to 400 milligrams is often helpful.
What about supplements like melatonin?
Small doses, like 0.5 to 2 milligram, can help reset your clock sometimes, but don't rely on it long-term. Other options are L-theanine, GABA, 5-HTP. Guided relaxation apps or binaural beats can also help calm the mind. The key is consistency.
Makes sense. Okay, pillar 4, harnessing hormesis. This sounds intriguing. beneficial stress.
Exactly. Hormesis is this cool biological principle where small doses of something that would be harmful in large doses actually make you stronger. It kicks your body's protective and repair systems into high gear.
Like the saying, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
That's basically it, in a biological sense. It's about strategic challenges that build resilience at a cellular level.
Okay, so how do we apply this good stress?
One major way is calorie restriction or intermittent fasting. Eating less overall or going for periods without food
That sounds stressful.
is, mildly. But that stress activates longevity pathways, like autophagy, our cleanup crew, and DNA repair. It fights insulin resistance, lowers inflammation, makes your mitochondria work better.
So skipping breakfast might actually be good for me.
It can be for many people.
Yeah.
Or having an earlier dinner and a later breakfast, creating a longer overnight fast. And thankfully, science is finding ways to mimic these effects with compounds so you don't have to feel like you're starving.
Good to know. What else counts as hormesis?
Hot and cold therapy. Think saunas and cold plunges, or even just cold showers.
Ooh, cold plunges are intense.
They are, but that shock activates beneficial pathways, reduces inflammation, improves circulation. Breath work, like the Wim Hof method, can really help you adapt to the cold.
Interesting. Anything else?
Hypoxia. Brief periods of low oxygen. Think high-altitude training, but you don't have to climb Everest.
How does that help?
It helps clear out old, dysfunctional mitochondria and boosts cellular cleanup. There are some specialized devices, or even simpler breath-holding exercises, like in pranayama yoga or Wim Hof breathing, can create mild, beneficial hypoxic stress.
Okay, and you mentioned something about plants earlier.
Yes. Phytochemicals. These are compounds in plants. A lot of the health benefits we get from colorful plants aren't just vitamins. They come from these phytochemicals that create a tiny bit of hormetic stress in our cells.
Like they're telling our cells to toughen up.
Exactly. Think polyphenols in coffee, or real extra virgin olive oil, resveratrol from grapes, catechins in green tea, curcumin from turmeric, berberine. Even urolithin A, which our gut bacteria make from things like pomegranates. They're messengers of resilience.
Wow. Okay, so food, movement, mind, spirit, and hormesis. That's the foundation. What about the really cutting-edge stuff?
Right, the future is kind of already here. Functional medicine is merging with incredible tech advances. We're mapping everything, the genome, microbiome, metabolome, the omics revolution.
And we have all these personal gadgets now, our rings, glucose monitors, Whoop straps.
The quantified self-movement. We can track so much in real time. And imagine feeding all that data into AI, maybe even quantum computers.
To get super personalized health plans.
Exactly. Highly individualized biological maps and strategies. That's where we're heading.
So what therapies are emerging from this?
Well, there's ongoing research into AMPK activators. Metformin, the diabetes drug, is famous for this, mimicking exercise and calorie restriction. But lifestyle is always the first choice for activating AMPK.
Okay.
Then there's boosting NAD+ with things like NMN or NR. NAD+ is crucial for energy, DNA repair, fighting inflammation, but it drops as we age.
Is this the stuff that made old mice run like crazy?
That's the anecdotal story. Boosting NAD+ seems to really revitalize cellular function. We're also seeing huge advances in stem cells and exosomes.
Stem cells for regeneration.
Right. Stem cell exhaustion is a hallmark of aging. But using stem cells, or even just their signaling molecules, the exosomes, these tiny packets of youth, can help reduce inflammation, improve tissue function, potentially less invasively than full stem cell therapy.
That sounds like regenerative medicine, fixing things instead of just managing symptoms.
Precisely. Using things like exosome injections, placental matrix, special peptides, even prolozone, that's ozone therapy, to help the body repair chronic injuries and pain. Dr. Hyman had amazing success with this for his own back and shoulder issues. Immediate relief, restored function. It's about true healing.
And what about mental health? Anything new there?
Yes, things like dynamic neural retraining system for rewiring stress responses. Ketamine therapy is showing real promise for tough cases of anxiety, depression, PTSD, and of course, the whole field of psychedelic-assisted therapy, psilocybin, MDMA, is rapidly evolving in clinical settings for deep trauma processing.
It feels like a whole new toolkit is emerging. How do we know what we need? That brings us to testing, right?
Absolutely. Personalized diagnostics are key. You need to test, not guess. The goal is to see where the imbalances are in those core biological systems we discussed.
So what kind of tests are we talking about?
A comprehensive panel is a good start. Something like Dr. Hyman's Young Forever Function Health Panel covers maybe 100 different markers. You can add things like advanced biological age tests, True Diagnostic is one, or immunological age tests like
So
iAge.
you can see how fast you're really aging inside.
Exactly. Then there are specialized tests for mitochondrial function, organic acids test, fitness levels, VO2 max, genetic predispositions, DNA panels, gut health, microbiome tests, leaky gut tests like Cyrix-Array2.
And you mentioned the mind-body connection earlier.
Crucial. Tools like the ACE questionnaire, Adverse Childhood Experiences, and the Perceived Stress Scale, PSS, are so important because how you perceive stress and your past trauma deeply impact your biology. It's not just what happens, but how you process it.
That's a really key insight. Perception matters. What about heart health specifically? Anything new beyond cholesterol tests?
Yes. The Clearly Heart Scan, it's a game changer. It uses AI to analyze a cardiac CT scan and actually sees the plaque in your arteries, distinguishing between stable hard plaque and the dangerous, unstable soft plaque that's likely to rupture.
The stuff standard tests might miss.
Often, yes. This allows for much earlier targeted intervention before a heart attack ever happens.
Okay, testing is vital. What about supplements? You hear so much about them. Do we really need them if we eat well?
That's the ideal. But the reality is, most people are deficient. Even with a decent diet, our soils are depleted, our food travels long distances. Studies show over 90% of people are low in at least one key nutrient. Vitamin D, omega-3s, magnesium are huge ones.
90%, that's almost everyone.
It is. And remember, the RDA's recommended dietary allowances, they're just the minimum to prevent outright deficiency diseases like scurvy or rickets. They're not designed for optimal health and longevity.
So what's the baseline? The core supplements almost everyone could benefit from.
A solid foundation would include vitamin D3, maybe 2,000 to 5,000 IU a day, always with vitamin K2, high-quality EPDH omega-3s, 1 to 2 grams daily, a good multivitamin mineral with the right forms of B vitamins for methylation, magnesium, 200-400 milligrams before bed citrate or glycinate are good forms, and a probiotic for gut health.
Okay, the foundational 5. D3K2, omega-3s, multi, magnesium, probiotic.
That's a great start. Then for more advanced longevity support, you can look at compounds targeting those pathways we talked about, mTOR, AMPK, sirtuins, inflammation, senolytics.
Like the NMN or NR for NAD plus left.
Exactly. Often around 1,000 milligrams a day. Glucorphanin from broccoli seeds for detox and antioxidant support. Urolithin A for autophagy. Branched-chain amino acids or creatine for muscle synthesis, especially if you're plant-based or older. These are more targeted optimizers.
Wow, we've covered so much ground. From understanding why the old model falls short to the hallmarks of aging, the core pillars of diet, movement, mind, and hormesis, and now these cutting-edge therapies and supplements.
It really paints a picture where aging isn't this fixed trajectory. It's something we can actively shape. Vibrant health, a longer health span. It's not just possible. It's achievable with the right knowledge and actions.
That's the key message, isn't it? That you, the listener, have incredible power here. We've seen how ancient wisdom, like from the blue zones, actually aligns perfectly with modern science and functional medicine principles. It gives us a roadmap.
It really does. You have so much more control over how you age than you probably ever thought possible.
So, thinking about everything we've discussed, now that you know the science, what does that open up for your life? What could you do? What legacy could you build? What passions could you finally pursue if you felt biologically decades younger?
It's a powerful question to sit with. What really stood out to you from this deep dive today? And maybe more importantly, what's the first step? What's one thing you'll do starting now to activate your own innate healing system?